My thesis film in college was about this. Freshman year, I was in a bar. I was 18. I tried getting one beer and my card was declined because like I didn't have any money. It was pretty crowded and this like 45-year-old woman comes like walking through and she's like being super bubbly and outgoing but like kind of drunk. And I kind of looked at her and smiled and she sat next to me. She's like, "Oh, what's up, baby? You know, they call me J-Lo because my butt's real big. I'll stand up. Why don't you feel it?" She stood up and like I felt her butt and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's real nice." At one point she goes, "Do you want to come outside and smoke a cigarette with me?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, like sure." She's super loud, by the way, like yelling at people as we're walking out. People are like, "Oh, what is this lady doing?" So we go outside. So we're sitting there and she's like smoking. And she asked how old I am and I was like 25. She's like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "Well, do you want to come back with me? I'll pay for the ride. I'll pay for everything. Like I'll send you home later." I was like, sick. I'm about to have sex with an older lady. It's just like the movies. I was texting my friends. They're like, "That sounds like a bad idea." And I'm like, I'm about to get my tuition paid for. About to have a sick view of the city. So we get in the taxi. I'm like, "So where we go?" Like Soho, Upper West Side. She's like, "Nah, the Bronx." And immediately she's like yelling at the cab driver. She's like smoking a cigarette. And he's like, "Oh, you can't smoke in here." And she's like, "Fuck you. I'll tip you real well. Leave me alone." Now I'm like kind of getting nervous. She's doing shooters in the car. She takes out a wad of $2 and she goes, "Here, take this." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then she gets a phone call. All of a sudden she's like, "What? No, I'm coming home right now. I'm with my boy. I'm with my boy right now." So I'm like, who is she talking to, dude? She hangs up and she was like, "That's my daughter. You'll love her." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she was like, "Yeah, she's like 23. And I was like, "That's kind of weird. Like I'm going home to a place where the daughter is older than me." So anyway, we're driving for a while into the Bronx. I'm like, I have no idea where we are. She's going on and on. She's like, "Yeah, my landlord, you know, he wants to kick me out because he says I have too many cats and it smells like piss inside the apartment, but like it doesn't. You'll see." I'm like, okay. We get out of the taxi and I'm immediately like, I don't know where I am. Like I'm new to New York at this point. The taxi drives off and I realize that I left my phone in the taxi. And she's like, "Oh, don't worry. I'll pay for it to come to my place." We go in, we stop at the first floor and she like knocks on the door and she's like, "This is my boy. I owe him money." And this like dude opens the door. He's like the scariest guy I've ever seen. And she's like, "All right, come on up. I'll pay you." And I like go like, "Hey, I'm Sean." Completely ignores me. Doesn't shake my hand or anything. We walk up to her apartment. She quickly runs to get him money, gives it to him. And then before he leaves, he turns to me and he's like, "When I leave, lock this door." And I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. He leaves. I lock the door. She's like, "I'm going to go to the bathroom. Do you want to smoke?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll smoke." So she sits on the toilet and she's like, "Go get a lighter." Before I went to get a lighter, I looked in the sink of the bathroom and there was a turtle. It was like filled to the top and it was just swimming in the sink.
Is this a real story?
I swear on my life. So I go to get a lighter in the kitchen. There's like 5 cats. There's like piss everywhere. One cat's missing an ear. One's missing an eye. Go back. Now she's on the toilet. I hand her the lighter and I look in the sink and now in the sink with the turtle is streaks of vomit. She like turned into the sink to vomit while I walked away. She tells me to sit in the door frame. Now she's smoking and I'm like, "That's a weird pipe." And so I'm like, "What is that?" She's like, "Oh, this is like the best crack in the Bronx." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "You want some?" I'm like, no, I thought you meant weed." And she was like, "Oh, that's cool. We'll smoke that later." Now I realize she's not pissing. She's either shitting or just enjoying the seat, you know? So I'm in the door frame. She's there on the toilet. To my right is a bedroom and I could see her daughter just sitting on the bed, like on her laptop. And I was like, "Hi." And she was just like, she was just like, why is this young ass guy with my mom? So she's smoking crack on the toilet. I'm like, "Hey, do you have another bathroom? I have to piss." And she's like, "Oh, you could just go in the tub. It doesn't matter how big you are. You're gay anyway, right?" And I was like, "What?" No. I'm like, "Do you know why I'm here?" Like I was hoping to I thought this was going to be like The Graduate. Like I thought I was going to, or like I was going to find my, a sugar mom. I was like, "No, I'm not gay." She's like, "Oh, you're not gay? All right, you're pretty cute." And then she was like, or whatever her daughter's name was, "He's pretty cute, right?" And then she didn't answer. She was like, "He's pretty cute, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I guess." And I was like, "It's all right. You don't have to answer." So I like piss in the tub. There's vomit in the tub now that I guess she also, I don't know how, right? But there was vomit in the tub. And so I sit there for like 20 minutes while she's shitting. I was barely talking, dude. It was just me like, yeah, wow. I ran Harlem, like me and my girls. We were the hottest ones. And I'm like sick. Yeah. At one point, she's like, "Yeah, when I used to live in Harlem, they used to call me the 5-pounder because my vagina's really heavy. When I'm done, I'll stand up and you could feel it and you could weigh it." I was like, "Oh, that's okay." Finally, she's like, "Let's go to my bedroom." She's like stopping along the way to show me shit. She's like, "You see this painting? Me and my daughter stole this. Like when I went to go buy drugs when I was younger and we like stole this from like a white family or something." I was like, "Cool." And then she was like, "This cat we got from an alleyway when I was buying drugs." Like I was with my daughter. I'm like, "That's crazy." We go to her bedroom. We're sitting on the bed. You know how like your phone can AirPlay photos to like the TV? It was like playing her camera roll. And one of the photos was this dude sitting on the bed I'm sitting on, kissing her on the cheek. And I'm like, oh, like who's that guy? She's like, oh, that's Darnell. He's like the biggest drug dealer in the Bronx. He's like the kingpin. She's like, he's like why I have the best crack. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, does he know I'm here? She's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. At one point, she like looks at her closet and she's like, oh, it's my dream to like put a bunch of dead guys in there. And she's like, oh, not you, just like people that have wronged me. She's just talking, dude, and talking. I get her to like call the taxi service. She's trying to explain to them drunkenly and cracked out that they have my phone. And there was a point where I was like, oh, I'll do it. And she's like, no, I can do it. She's yelling at the guy on the phone. She hangs up. She's like, he's coming. I promise. I'll pay for it. She's like, I want you to sleep over. I just want to talk to you all night. You're such a good listener. You could put in earplugs and sleep. I'll just talk to you while you sleep. And I'm like, this lady's insane, dude. She started to flirt with me. She was like, I do this thing. Guys love it. And she like put her mouth on my eye and kind of like breathed. She was just like, I was like, oh yeah, cool. She's like, you like that? I was like, I guess.
You open your eye, it has pink eye.
Probably an hour or two goes by. Finally, she gets a call from this taxi guy, right? At first, she's like, I'm going to give you the keys. I'm going to give you my credit card and you're going to go buy us alcohol and get your phone and then come back and you'll sleep over. But then she's like, no, you know what? On second thought, I'm coming. So she like walks me downstairs. We go across the street to a laundromat. At the very end of like this long road, I see the taxi. I don't know why he's so far away, but she's like yelling at him. She's like, I'm coming. I'm just getting money. So we go to the laundromat. We go to the ATM. She puts in her credit card. She tries to take out $20, the lowest increment, and I watch her card decline. She's like, yeah, I guess I don't have money. And I'm like, what? So she's like, just go get your phone. Like, just go grab it from him. And I'm like, but you said you'd pay him. And she was like, just grab it from him. I run to this taxi. I just hop in it and I'm like, dude, drive me out of here, please. And he's like, there's a woman on the phone. Like, how do I know this is yours? And I like unlock the phone. I'm like, see, it's mine. And he's like, oh, all right, I guess. And now she's calling him, screaming, like, bring him back here. And I'm like, please just drive me to like the next train station. I'll pay you when I get there. And so he drives me at least a $30 fare distance to this train station. And it's one of those train, like it's a bridge over the street. So I hear it coming. And I know my card's going to decline. So I just like sprinted from the cab and ran up the stairs and off the turnstile. And yeah, got away.
Why did he tell you to lock the door?
I have no idea. It was just some weird detail where I was like, I am not safe.
Do you have her on Facebook right now?
You want to see her?
Yeah, I do want to see her.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what?
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wait.
She's very pretty.
Oh, she's a Yankees fan.
So I wasn't like conned by like some crazy looking person.
When you were shooting that thesis film, did you have a girl sitting on the toilet smoking crack and pooping in front of you?
Do you want to see it?
I mean, that looks just like her, I'll be honest.